A day after disengagement at the line of actual control, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh apprised Parliament of the current situation at Eastern Ladakh. The Defence Minister said that sustained dialogue and talks with China have led to an agreement on disengagement on the north and south banks of the Pangong Lake. He added that after this agreement, India and China will remove forward deployments in a phased, coordinated manner. The Defence Minister further said that our troops have bravely faced the challenges at the border. Rajnath said India has made it clear to China that no attempt should be made to change the status quo along the line of actual control. Chinese troops are moving back to Finger 8. Indian troops are pulling back to Finger 3 near Dhansing Tapa post, and no patrolling will take place on Finger 4 from both sides. This decision is based on a consensus reached in the 9th Corps Commander level meet and subsequent meetings between ground level commanders. This is the 4th time that disengagement is taking place since July last year.
सभापति महोदय, पिछले वर्ष से मिलिट्री एंड डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पर चीन के साथ हमारा संबंध बना रहा है। इस बातचीत में हमने चीन को यह बताया है कि 3 सिद्धांतों के आधार पर हम इस समस्या का समाधान चाहते हैं। फर्स्ट, दोनों पक्षों द्वारा एलएसी को माना जाए और उसका आदर किया जाए। दूसरा, किसी भी पक्ष द्वारा यूनिलेटरली स्टेटस को बदलने का प्रयास न किया जाए। तीसरा, सभी समझौतों का दोनों पक्षों द्वारा पूर्ण रूप से पालन किया जाए। सभापति महोदय, फ्रिक्शन क्षेत्रों में डिसएंगेजमेंट के लिए भारत का यह मत है कि 2020 की फॉरवर्ड डिप्लॉयमेंट जो एक दूसरे के बहुत नजदीक हैं वे दूर हो जाएं और दोनों सेनाएं वापस अपनी अपनी स्थायी या मान्य चौकियों पर वापस लौट जाएं। सभापति महोदय, बातचीत के लिए हमारी स्ट्रेटजी तथा अप्रोच माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के इस दिशा निर्देश पर आधारित है कि हम अपनी 1 इंच जमीन भी किसी और को नहीं लेने दें। हमारे दृढ़ संकल्प का ही यह फल है कि हम समझौते की स्थिति पर पहुंच गए हैं। इन दिशा निर्देशों के दृष्टिगत सितंबर 2020 से लगातार मिलिट्री एंड डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पर दोनों पक्षों में कई बार बातचीत हुई है कि इस डिसएंगेजमेंट का म्यूचुअली एक्सेप्टेबल तरीका निकाला जाए। अभी तक सीनियर कमांडर्स के स्तर पर 9 राउंड्स की बातचीत हो चुकी है। राजनयिक स्तर पर भी WMCC यानी वर्किंग मैकेनिज्म फॉर कंसल्टेशन एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन ऑफ इंडिया चाइना बॉर्डर अफेयर के तहत भी बैठकें होती रही हैं। सभापति महोदय, मुझे सदन को यह बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि हमारे इस अप्रोच तथा सस्टेन्ड टॉक्स के फलस्वरूप चीन के साथ पैंगोंग लेक के नॉर्थ एवं साउथ बैंक पर डिसएंगेजमेंट का समझौता हो गया है। चीन अपनी सेना की टुकड़ियों को नॉर्थ बैंक में फिंगर 8 के पूरब की दिशा की तरफ रखेगा और इसी तरह भारत भी अपनी सेना की टुकड़ियों को फिंगर 3 के पास अपने परमानेंट बेस धन सिंह थापा पोस्ट पर रखेगा। इसी तरह की कार्रवाई साउथ बैंक एरिया में भी दोनों पक्षों द्वारा की जाएगी। ये कदम आपसी समझौते के तहत बढ़ाए जाएंगे तथा जो भी निर्माण आदि दोनों पक्षों द्वारा अप्रैल 2020 से नॉर्थ एंड साउथ बैंक पर किया गया है उन्हें हटा दिया जाएगा और पुरानी स्थिति कायम कर दी जाएगी। इस सदन से आग्रह करना चाहता हूं कि मेरे साथ संपूर्ण सदन हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस की इस विषम एवं भीषण बर्फबारी की परिस्थितियों में भी शौर्य और वीरता के प्रदर्शन की भूरी भूरी प्रशंसा करे। और सभापति महोदय, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि जिन शहीदों के शौर्य और पराक्रम की नींव पर यह डिसएंगेजमेंट आधारित है उन्हें देश सदैव याद रखेगा। सभापति महोदय, मैं इस बात से भी पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त हूं कि यह पूरा सदन, चाहे कोई किसी भी दल का क्यों न हो, देश की संप्रभुता, एकता और अखंडता और सुरक्षा के प्रश्न पर एक साथ खड़ा है और एक स्वर से समर्थन करता है कि यह संदेश केवल भारत की सीमा तक ही सीमित नहीं रहेगा बल्कि पूरे विश्व को जाएगा। सभापति महोदय।
Let's take this across to reporters. Kamaljeet Sandhu is joining us live from Delhi. We also have our defence editor Abhishek Bhalla with us. Abhishek, to you first. When we talk about disengagement, particularly at Pangong, when we're saying that Chinese troops have retreated to Finger 8, way back at Finger 3, is that what the situation was before the standoff?
Not really, Akshita, but remember that this is a negotiation after 9 rounds of talks at the top military commanders level as well as at the diplomatic level. And what was announced in Rajya Sabha today was in fact what India Today broke yesterday when we brought out the modalities of this disengagement, where India is moving back to the Dhan Singh Thapa post, which is closer to the Finger 3 area. China agreeing to move beyond Finger 8, but there is still a bit of a tricky situation there when it comes to status quo, even though Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that India has not conceded anything in this dialogue. But the fact remains that India claims its territory up to Finger 8, and before April 2020, Indian patrols were going beyond Finger 4, and they were being stopped by the Chinese. That's what resulted in hostilities, and it sparked a series of violent clashes when troops from both the sides came to blows. Since then, things had been extremely tense. China brought in their weapon systems, their heavy deployment of troops. In fact, they had set up structures between Finger 4 and Finger 5. So the good thing is that they've agreed to remove these structures. This is what sources have told us is. And after this, once this is successful, the focus will shift to the southern bank of Pangong Lake, and India will vacate those heights occupied by the troops in August last year, which had irked China. And after this, India is still maintaining that the bigger disengagement needs to take place across Eastern Ladakh by China pulling back their weapon systems and troops from forward locations, including Depsang.
Okay, so this is hopefully the first step, and we're going to see a lot more disengagement along the line of actual control. Kamaljeet, politically speaking, how was the Defence Minister's address received in Parliament? Because the opposition has time and again claimed that China has occupied our land, something that Rajnath Singh categorically said hasn't happened.
Well, this is a statement he's made in Rajya Sabha, and he's going to reiterate that at 5:30 p.m. in Lok Sabha. It's been high on symbolism, even though Rahul Gandhi and the likes of other leaders who have consistently questioned government's position on this, whether there was any conceding of land. And time and again, even the Prime Minister and now Rajnath Singh have said that not an inch of land has been conceded. However, there seems to be a point of difference. Now, remember, he said that both sides have agreed for phase coordinated as well as verified pullback and disengagement. So that itself talks about a certain particular area in the North Pangong. He's not elaborated too much on the South Pangong area. And again, there are other areas where there seems to be a point of differences. Those need to be really discussed. Also, there is an engagement. We've seen earlier standoff taking place in northeast in Arunachal Pradesh. So it does seem that the China does strategically irk India, and this time it's been more than blows. There have been losses at both sides, and India and Chinese. But Rajnath Singh categorically saying the onus and responsibility of peace and tranquility lies with both sides. Now, status quo ante could not be a possibility as such, but this is obviously talking about pullback. Now, on speeches and on paper, the agreement may sound good, but on ground situation, it really needs to be materialized and seen. Now, even as we speak, we've been told that especially in the area of Pangong, this is where patrolling will not take place anymore. Structures will be removed by China, as Abhishek Bhalla has been pointing out, and which was mentioned by Rajnath Singh in his speech. All this is going to be a point, but it will be seen in the next few days and even months as to whether China really stands by what it's said, or whether there could be a tricky situation, and China has gone back on its words many a times and engaged with India at several standoff points, not just in Eastern Ladakh, but also in Northeast.
All right. Kamaljeet, do stay on with us. We're going to need your inputs on the next story as well. Another story coming in from Parliament. Abhishek, for the moment, thank you for joining us. Let me just highlight for you how much of disengagement has happened so far. This is along the Pangong Lake that we're talking about troop pullback from both sides. So let me just explain to you in the North Bank what's happening. The Chinese troops have moved up to now Finger 8 area. This is agreed upon and they've pulled back. What about our troops? they've moved to Finger 3. And this is a permanent base that we have. So all the troops have gone back here. Finger 4 of Pangong Lake, which has been a bone of contention between India and China, there's going to be no patrolling by either side. So there's no troop movement along Finger 4 area. All the Chinese troops have moved back to Finger 8 and our troops are at Finger 3. So this area now, which did see a lot of skirmishes, which has been seeing that standoff for the last many months, the agreement is that right now there'll be no patrolling there. And let's hope that from here we see disengagement along several other points as well, where there's been tension for the last many months.